Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Rebecca Shores, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my 2015 beauty favorites. So because I have a lot of things, let's just get right into it. This is going to be all makeup items. I will do a skincare and hair if you guys are interested in. However, my skincare and hair favorites haven't really changed much. So I'm thinking I'm just going to do this unless you guys want it. So let me know in the comments box below if you do want to see a hair and skincare favorite. So we're going to start with a primer slash BB cream. My favorite is the Tarte BB Primer in Fair. You can use this as a BB cream or as a primer. I often use it as a primer, and then occasionally in the summertime when I don't want a lot of makeup, I use it as a BB cream. What I like about it is that it comes quite fair and it gives me a nice smooth matte finish and doesn't really cover my freckles or anything. So when it's a BB cream, it just looks great, and it gives me a nice base and prolongs the longevity of my makeup if I'm going to put a base over it, and it also has a physical sunblock. For foundation, I mix, as most people know. I'm using the Makeup Forever HD in 118 mixed with the Illamasqua Skinbase in white. This has been my long-term favorite, and it is still holding strong through 2015. Makeup Forever HD, this is the Ultra HD. I used to use the normal one. I like this. There is a shade that is lighter. However, I bought this before I knew there was a lighter shade because I was at IMATS and I didn't want to basically dig through all the people that were there to get the correct shade because I didn't realize they were going to have the Ultra HDs then. I've also tried a couple different white bases, and I'm still testing out a couple because I want to do a video with quite a few of them in it. But my favorite for mixing with silicone-based foundations, which is my favorite, that's also like a medium coverage, is the Illamasqua Skinbase in white. This is holding out as my favorite white mixer. For powder, I've been using the RMCA No Color powder. As you can see, I need to buy more. I actually already have more. But this is basically just a transparent powder. It looks kind of white in there, but when you put it on your skin, it doesn't look like anything. I use this for all sorts of skin tones. It's something that lives in my kit as well. I really like it. It's great for just any type of basic setting powder where you don't really care about your powder changing the finish of your makeup or anything. Next up is concealer. My favorite concealer is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in Chantilly. This is my favorite concealer because, one, it is the color of my skin tone. I don't need to mix anything. This matches my skin basically exactly. I also like that it wears quite well, and I don't seem to get a lot of creasing. The other thing I really like about this is it's buildable all the way to a full coverage. So I have some pretty gnarly dark circles, and this takes care of them. You can also use it on blemishes. You don't have to use it just for under the eyes. So I like it that I can use it all over. It's the correct color. Winner in my book. Next up is the Pixi Brightening Peach. This is a corrector concentrate. This is my favorite. I'm actually on Pixi's PR list, and it was funny because I got sent another one of these, and I'm like, I've been using these for years. This is my favorite. I've tried more high-end versions like the Bobbi Brown, and I still go back to this because I think this one's great, and it's sold at Target, so it's not as pricey. Next up is setting powder. This is the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. I don't use this to bake like the rest of YouTube right now, but I do use it to set underneath my eyes because it doesn't change the color of my foundation or concealer that's under my eyes. Sometimes they can kind of darken them, which I obviously don't want when it's under your eyes. And I like that it has little light reflecting particles. It's silica based, but it does have some light reflection. Big fan of this. Keeps my stuff from creasing. So next up is highlighters, which are basically my favorite thing. As you can see, I've basically bathed in one today. So we're going to talk about the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Moonstone. This is probably one of the best highlighters out there. Not only is it named Becca, and because Rebecca is a great name, I really like how finely milled this is. This looks great. You can really pack it on if you want quite a bit of a highlight, or you can really sheer it out and just look just glowy. I think these are the nicest highlighters out there because they are so finely milled. They blend into your skin. You're not getting any of that chunky glitter. It's just a gorgeous glow. Moonstone is what I find is the most natural. This can't go in my favorites because I got it too late in 2015, and it has to be something I've been liking for a while. But I am a big fan of the Pearl as well. So Pearl and Moonstone is what you're going to see also in 2016 now that Pearl is out there. They're both gorgeous, very finely milled. If you
are looking for the highlighter that you just need one and you don't need a different one, even though you love highlighters, I'd highly recommend the Becca highlighters. They're gorgeous. They are a little bit steep when it comes to pricing. However, they're so finely milled. They're hands down the best highlighter I've tried. Another highlighter, which is actually the one I'm wearing today that I've really been loving, is Starlight by Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is a gorgeous highlight as well. It's not as finely milled as the Becca, so as you can see, it shows up quite well. It's marketed as a sheer highlight, which you can sheer it down quite a bit, but I actually like wearing this highlight if I want one to really show up, because as you can see, it really does catch the light nicely. What I like about this one is the color. This one is a very unique color. The Becca one is just like a pale champagne color, and then Pearl is like a white highlight. This one I like because it has some pink as well as some peach in it, as well as some yellow. So it looked in the pan at first that it was gonna be similar to NARS Albatross, which pulls a little too yellow on my skin tone. This one, because it has those different dimension in actual color, with a lot of it being more that peach color, I find this to be very flattering on multiple skin tones. And then I have one more highlight-ish, is MAC Emphasize. This is one of their Pro Shaping Powders. I've been wearing this for years and years and years. This is more of a satin highlight. I'll use this to highlight areas that I don't really want to pack on a ton of highlight. So sometimes between my brows, a lot of times in this kind of under the eye area, or in my chin where I don't want as much of a shimmer. So now we're moving on to blush. Vintage Rose by Ben Nye, one of my most worn blushes in 2015. I like this because it's a very kind of balanced peach. It's got a little bit of pink. It's got a little bit of warmth, but it's nothing too crazy. If I could choose the color of my natural flush, it would be this. I think this is very flattering, and if I was gonna have like one blush to wear forever, it would probably be this one because it looks good with most makeup that I would wear. A very sad one, as you can see, I'm hitting hard pan on this one, is MAC Warm Soul. This is one of my favorite blushes. It's now a little more shimmery now that it's been repackaged, which makes me so sad. I will probably be finishing this up in the next year. So if you have a dupe for the old version of MAC Warm Soul, I'm mostly talking about the color. I don't really care about the mineralized as much, but something that's not overly shimmery, I would love to know, because I love this. Makeup Geek Bliss is a gorgeous, basically kind of warm peach blush, much more on the orangey side, and it's matte. I love this in most situations because I like to wear warm blushes. I don't really like the pinker blushes. So this one is just gorgeous color. I like it. MAC's Dulce Vida is one of my favorite blushes. This is the closest to my natural flush. So if I want really natural makeup, I'll actually opt for this. As you can see in the pan, it's quite dark. So I do use a very, very light hand. This is going to look good on a lot of skin tones. It's very pigmented, and so it's not gonna show up too chalky on deeper skin tones. But if you are someone that's a little closer to my skin tone, then you do wanna use a light hand because this can go really intense really fast, but it is an absolutely gorgeous color. I'm a big fan of the NARS blushes. They're a lot harder in the pan, so you're not gonna kick up a lot of powder, and a little goes a long way. So I'm going to talk about a finishing powder. This is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Ethereal. I've loved this for years, so it should be no surprise that it's going to get in my 2015 favorites. It's one of my all-time favorite setting finishing powders on the market. It is rather steep. I usually buy it during the VIB sale, but it's totally worth it. I go through about one of these a year. So it does last quite a bit of the time. So I really like this. It gives a soft just finish to the skin, and it doesn't add color to my skin. Some of the other ones are a little too colored to put over my skin tone, so I like that this one just makes my skin look alive and awake. Even if I've set my makeup, you get back to that satin finish, which I think is a lot more flattering than a flat matte. Now onto brow products. Got quite a few Anastasia items because they're my favorite. That's just how it is. She's the brow queen, and it's true. Dip Brow and Taupe. I really like this. This is something I use through my brows. It's what I have in my brows today as my kind of base color. It's great. The dip brows in general, I really like. They're a pomade. They're waterproof. You can also wear them as like eyeliner and everything else. They look great as fake freckles. But Taupe, my favorite color, went through all the colors of my hair and worked well. I also love the brow powder duos. I mostly use the lighter shade, but I use the darker shade occasionally, and I used it a lot when my hair was a darker blonde color. These are just really nice. They're very ashy, and that's what I prefer. They come in quite a few colors, but I want something that's obviously not going to pull warm. And a lot of times when you get ones that are a little more on the neutral side and you are a fairer skin tone, they'll actually pull warm when you put them on the skin. So while it might look great on someone with a deeper skin tone, it will just look like you put red in your hair. Okay, maybe not red, but it pulls a little more strawberry blonde. So I like that this has a bit of green tinge to it because it looks ashy in my brows. So this is applied over kind of in more hair-like strokes of the taupe pomade, which is what I have in my brows today. This is something for a while that I held off of because I was like, you can buy Maybelline Clear Gel Mascara and just use that in your brows, but been converted Clear Brow Gel by Anastasia as well. This is what I put in my brows. It holds my brows in place so much better than those little $5 ones, so it's completely worth investing in a bigger tube of something that's a little more, you know, strong, really holds the brows in place if you have brow hairs that like to go everywhere. I have quite full brows naturally, and the hairs are rather long and unruly, so a clear brow gel is something I basically always have in my brows. Kind of piggybacking onto mascara, we're gonna go into actual mascara. My long-term favorite had been the L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black, which still is holding strong as a great mascara, but in 2015, I went for this Maybelline's Full and Soft, which I actually really like. I use the waterproof formula, which I like better than the normal formula. My eyes are rather watery, so I pretty much always wear waterproof. However, this one is great. It is feathery. It doesn't make your lashes feel crispy, and it just, you can build it up, but it never makes your lashes actually crunchy. It just gives them more volume and looks like you have more lashes rather than turning into one big clump. So I just really like this mascara, and it pulled ahead as favorite mascara in 2015. So now we're gonna kind of transition into eyeshadows. First up are two shadows by Strobe Cosmetics. I really like Strobe's eyeshadows. I think they make some of the best pressed shadows out there. They're a smaller indie brand, which we'll see most of the eyeshadows I have are indie brands. So make sure that you do check these people out. Strobe is owned by Chloe, and I think she is just one of the nicest people. These are my two favorite shadows by Strobe. Fortune Cookie. This is the most gorgeous gold ever. I really like it. It's more of a kind of a coppery gold. It's not too antique-y gold, which I don't care for as much. I love this as a highlight. I frequently wear it on my Cupid's bow. It's just such a stunning color. And then Gleaming Gardenia. This is gorgeous as an inner corner highlight, and you can even highlight your whole face with it. It's a beautiful, just off-white color. It is so pretty. I have two eyeshadow palettes. One is the Battle Ash palette. This is by Saucebox. Unfortunately, this was limited edition, so it's not something that you can still buy. However, in general, I really like Saucebox's shadows, so you might be able to find something similar. It's actually what I'm wearing on my eyes today is this palette. This was one of my favorites. It is made by the girls of Battle Ash, who I love dearly. They are awesome. But I really like the color choices in here. I like that you have brights that aren't too bright, and then you have some nice neutrals. And Saucebox's blacks are always great. And really, I like the colors in here. I can make so many looks with one palette. This shall come to no surprise if you watch my tutorials or look at my Instagram. The Urban Decay Electric palette is just a palette that I always want to use. I'm just drawn to colors. I really like color. I like bright colors. I don't have an issue wearing bright colors. So Urban Decay Electric palette is holding strong in favorite palettes. I don't use Slow Burn a lot, but all of the other colors I use frequently, especially the blues and purples. Another indie brand, I tried Melt Cosmetics in 2015 and I fell in love. I had been holding off buying these for a long time because they are a little bit pricey for an indie brand. They do have a lot more of a solid packaging, so I can see why. And I don't know why I held off. These are gorgeous. I have both the Dark Matter and the Love Sick Sack. They come in 4 different colors with a little mirror as the top thing. I actually really like this mirror. It's kind of convenient because it's little, like right now, I can see my eyelashes popping off. Shadows. So I pulled the two out of the Saucebox Etude palette. This is Cream Dream. As you can see, hit and pan hard. I love these. These are 4-gram pans, so I've gone through a lot of this. And then also chocolate, which is a little more of a taupey brown. I use those all the time when I'm doing more natural looks or wearing anything where I'm wearing basically just a winged liner. Next up is Makeup Geek's Cocoa Bear. This is a burnt orange brown. I love this color, wear it frequently because as you can see, most of my favorites are a little bit on the warmer side because I do like those, especially with my eye color. Makeup Geek Flamethrower is this gorgeous, almost red copper color. I think this is just an awesome color. It's a little more bold because it is one of those foiled shadows, but it looks awesome on blue and green eyes especially. Next up is Makeup Geek's Grandstand. Take a look of the swatch because this is a very unique color. It's kind of a pinky brown. I really like this. This is something I throw on a lot just as a lid color, especially with more of just easy, simple looks. Makeup Geek Chickadee is a color that I use all the time as a transition shade just because I think it's so fun. It also looks great as a blush. It's just really just warm, yellowy orange shade that you should wear with everything, especially purples and lime greens. Peach Smoothie should come to no surprise. Also hitting quite a bit of pan here because this is something I use as transition shade with most warm eyeshadow looks. MAC Uninterrupted and Makeup Geek Desert Sands are very similar shadow colors, so I'm going to talk about them at the same time. I'll use these kind of interchangeably. They're just this kind of ugly mustard yellow color, which looks awful in the pan, but it looks amazing on the skin. This is something I love to use to like as your transition shade with dark grays or blues or blacks, especially on, not even just on fair skin tones, pretty much any skin tone as long as they're not overly cool, anyone that leans a little more neutral to warm. This looks great to blend those out. The Anastasia Beauty Mark eyeshadow, I have a couple of the Anastasia eyeshadows that I purchased in 2015 and they are lovely. They're quite easy to work with and very soft, which is something I like. Beauty Mark is one of my favorites. It's similar to MAC Embark, but it's a little more kind of purpley brown, and I love these purpley brown colors. They are great just to add depth to pretty much any eye look. Makeup Geek Bitten, I would also include Cherry Cola, but I got that recently and I haven't used enough to consider it a favorite. And Makeup Geek Bitten is just that gorgeous, I mean, it's just a burgundy shadow. Look at it, it's gorgeous, lovesick. Anything that's burgundy, I just really like. Makeup Geek Homecoming is one of my most warm shadows. Again, when I do my more simple looks, this is one of the shadows I will throw all over my lid. Unexpected is also by Makeup Geek. I really like this because it's kind of a it's basically that grayish color people were liking. It's kind of a lavender gray. I love this color. I think it looks great on my skin tone and it's something I wear often. Makeup Geek Shimma Shimma is a very nice kind of balanced champagne eyeshadow. I like using this as an actual highlighter or just to highlight the inner corners of my eyes. If you've watched any of my tutorials in 2015, you will know that I use this shadow like crazy. I usually go through at least one pan a year. Blanc Type by MAC. It is one of the M squared finishes, which are my favorite finish by MAC. It's very soft. It is basically the color of my skin, and it is what I use as a base shadow every time. MAC Mylar is my favorite brow highlight. Because my eyes are hooded, I do not like to add a lot of basically shimmer or foiled or pearl on my brow bone because it's just going to make this part of my lid, which is already heavy, look heavier. So I almost always go for MAC Mylar as my brow highlight. MAC Nylon is what I have as my inner corner highlight today. And this is just a more of a pearl metallic highlight. As you can see, it's quite intense on the inner corner. And it's just this nice pale yellow color. I love it. Now we're going to switch on to lips. My favorite liquid lipstick was Midi, and this is by ColourPop. I know a lot of people didn't like the formula of these. These are some of my favorite. My all-time favorite formula is the Pretty Zombie Cosmetics, and this is a close second. The very liquidy and dries very, very matte. I have Blitzed, which is one of my favorite lip colors. Like if you put on lip color and you're like, I just want to feel awesome, sometimes it's red for me and other times it's blitzed. I really, really like this. It's like a teal green color and it's one of my favorite lipsticks to wear. I also really like the formula. They're very similar to the MAC's Retro Mattes, which is my favorite formula by MAC. So I'm a big fan of these. And then I also got Bane. Bane is my favorite black lipstick, hands down. I love wearing black lipsticks and this is my favorite one right now. I have two MAC lipsticks. MAC Faux is my most warm. It's not very exciting, but it is my most worn lipstick of 2015 because it basically looks like my lip color. And then also MAC Stone. MAC Stone, I was so excited when they came out as a lipstick because I loved the liner. This is one of my favorite colors to wear. I know some people say it's more of a taupey purple in them. It's very taupey gray for me, and I love this. I wear this with so many looks. I could have worn it today, actually. I have two NARS lipsticks. I have Rikujin, which is the one that came in the Sephora, basically birthday gift. I love this color. This is one of my favorite just slap on and go when I'm wearing more natural makeup because it's very pretty. I don't really care that it has that kind of a bit of a pearl to it, but I love the color. So if I can find a dupe to this without the pearl, I would switch to that. But until then, this is great. It's one that I can also just throw in my purse because I'll wear it with most looks. I also love NARS Anna. This is just a really pretty color. Most similar affordable option that I know of is the Lumiere, which is Kathleen Light's Color Pop lipstick. But it's just this really pretty mauvey pink color that I can wear with most looks if I want a little more color to my lips rather than not these lighter pinks, which is what I opt for some of the time. If I want a little more pink, I'll go for this. And the NARS Audacious formula is hands down my favorite lipstick formula. So I'm going to show you both of these, but Goddess is my favorite. These are two Marc Jacobs lipsticks. I love reds, and Goddess is my favorite red of 2015. I really like Ruby Woo by MAC. I really like Cruella by NARS. And I used to be a big fan of this, which is O'Malley. So if you see them next to each other, they're very similar in color, but Goddess is a little more of a true balanced red, while O'Malley is more of a blue-based red. So Goddess took the cake in 2015. I really like this. One eyeliner, this is the Silky Eye pen by Pixi. I really like these. They're a lot cheaper than a lot of the other ones that I used to purchase, and these last on my waterline, so I'm just going to continue to use these. I also have some eyelashes. Probably most worn lash since I got it was the Faction Lash. That's what I'm wearing today. They are just these awesome lashes. They're by Nubu-san in collaboration with Alex Faction, who I think is one of the most hilarious people I've ever met. These are great because they do give that elongated look because they are kind of tapered and longer at the ends, but they're still kind of fluffy because they're more chunky. A lot of times when you get these tapered ones, they're very even, and that's okay with me, but I really like that these have a little more texture. They're a little more interesting to wear, and they don't overwhelm my eyes. So these are just great. I got sent 2 pairs, and I've since bought like, I think 3 more because they're great. I also love the You Complete Me by Velour. So these ones you can see, they're not as like fluffy and chunky as the Faction Lash. These are just that more just kind of tapered that I was talking about. They're also not overly long, so these are great for kind of smaller hooded eyes. They're not going to overwhelm your eyes. So these are also a great lash. And lastly, these are kind of my favorite crazy lash. These are the Nubum Bella lashes. These are very, very, very kind of 3D, chunky, fluffy lashes. These definitely do overwhelm my eyes, but they look awesome for more bold looks and look amazing in photos. All right, so 2 more items left. So the Anastasia Contour Kit in Fair, I really enjoy. This is something that I have on my face today. I really like that the contour shades are neutral and cool, so this doesn't pull orange on my face. I don't really use the darkest shade very often because it is quite deep for my skin tone. And then I like the highlight shades as well. The luster color is the one I don't use as much. I'll use that usually on my lips or something since I usually powder my face. But I like the 2 lightest shades. One is actually lighter than my skin tone and one is pretty much the same color. So I just really like this. It's something I can actually highlight and contour with on my skin tone, and it doesn't like move around. It's very stiff. It's similar to like the RCMA foundations. So it's quite stiff, but it blends with the warmth of your hands. So big fan of this. And lastly, the Makeup Forever Mist and Fix. This is my favorite setting spray, hands down. When I'm just going throughout the day, I'm not gonna be wearing my makeup out. A lot of times I'll go for the e.l.f. for the next one because those are a lot more affordable. But for long wear and for the most like pretty look to my skin itself, I go for this one. It's just makes your skin look like skin again, even if you have powders on, and it really sets your makeup and makes it last all day. And that's all my 2015 favorites. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry it's a bit long. Let me know what your favorites were in the down box below. Do we have some of the same? Is there something I should try? Let me know. Anyhow, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and you can subscribe if you'd like to see more of my videos. There's new videos every Tuesday and Friday, and I will see you guys on the next one. See you later.